Hi yogis, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to take you through a Vinyasa Flow that's focused on building up those glute muscles. So if you're ready to fire up those butt cheeks, let's get started. Starting at the top of your mat, we're going to come down onto all fours, bring our knees out wide till they kiss the edge of the mat, and bring your hands forward, coming down into child's pose. Breathing in and out of the nose here. Your butt should be rested on the backs of your heels. If this is too much strain on your inner thighs, you can bring your knees a little closer together. Slowly pressing up from child's pose. We're going to come onto all fours with our hands directly underneath our shoulders and our knees directly underneath our hips, and take a few cat and cows here. Breathing in as you push your chest towards the floor, and breathing out as you bring your spine towards the ceiling. And breathing in and out. We're going to bring our left foot back behind us and extend it up and straight out, bringing our right hand out in front of us and straight out, flexing that back foot, keeping the arms and legs engaged here. It should be as someone's pulling you from both directions, really firing up the back of the leg and the abdominals. Balancing here. If your foot doesn't come quite as far off the mat, that is perfectly fine. And releasing, we're going to take our right leg out straight behind us and flex it up towards the ceiling as well, bringing the left arm out and up. Engaging that hand, flexing that foot, keeping everything strong and flexed. Nice balance in the foundation here. If you fall out, just come right back into it. And releasing back to all fours, bringing that left foot out straight behind you again, and we're going to do toe taps here. 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can have a slight bend in the knee if you'd like. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Can lean back onto the heels and take the right leg out. Toe taps again, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Releasing, can lean back onto the heels. Take a few cat and cows here. Breathing in and out. We're gonna come forward into puppy pose. So we're gonna keep the bottom half as was and walk our hands out in front of us, bringing our chest close to the floor. This is called melting heart or puppy pose. You can bring your fingers up onto the tips for an additional stretch in the back of the shoulders here. Breathing in and out through the nose. And pressing into the palms, lifting back up to hands and knees. We're going to stand up and come to the front of our mat. Starting in mountain pose. Really engaging those feet and planting them firmly into the ground. Bringing our hands up above and forward fold. Halfway lift. Step or lightly jump your feet back into plank position. Lower down into chaturanga and inhale upward dog. Exhale downward dog. You can pedal out the feet here. Take a few breaths. Really get into the back of the knees for the first downward dog of the day. Looking to the front of the mat and stepping or lightly jumping your feet to your hands. We're going to grab onto the backs of the elbows here, making sure our feet are hip width distant apart, and just letting the top of the body hang down. Going to sway back and forth here, getting a little stretch into the back of the legs, leaning the weight into the balls of the feet and back into the heels. Breathing in and lifting the hands all the way to the sky. Breathing out as you fold all the way down. Halfway lift to a flat back. Step or lightly jump your feet back into plank. Lower down to chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, downward dog. A few breaths here. Taking that right foot between the hands and stepping up to a high lunge. We're going to straighten that front knee and bend all the way down. Straighten and bend. Straighten and bend. You're going to try and bend that knee as far as you can. Straighten and bend. Up, down, low. Straighten up, bend down low, straighten and bend, straighten and bend, come up high, sink down low, straighten and bend, taking our hands on either side of the foot, taking that foot back to plank position, lowering down to chaturanga and inhaling upward dog, exhaling downward dog. Looking forward between the hands, going to step or lightly jump your feet to your hands. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, folding all the way down. Inhaling to a flat back. Stepping or lightly jumping into plank position, lowering down to chaturanga. Inhaling to upward dog and exhaling to downward facing dog. This time we're going to take our left foot in between the hands, coming up high into a high lunge. Our hips should be squared off here. We're going to straighten that front leg and sink down low. Straighten and bend. Keeping our balance here. Straighten and bend. Up, down low, come up high, sink down low, straighten and bend, straighten and bend, come up high, sink down low, come up high, sink down low, up and down, up and down, placing those hands beside the feet, coming back to plank, lowering down to chaturanga, inhaling upward dog, and exhaling downward facing dog. We're going to wave our bodies forward into a plank position. So bringing that butt flat. We're going to do some leg lifts here. So if staying in plank is too much, you can come down onto the elbows or bring one of your knees down onto the ground. We're going to start with our left leg and we're going to lift it up and tap it down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and switch. 1 and 2, making the modifications if you need to. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Bringing both knees onto the ground. Coming up into downward dog. Breathing here. Looking forward to the top of the mat, we're going to step or lightly jump our feet to our hands. We're going to inhale all the way up and exhale, bend all the way forward, bending those knees and coming up into chair pose. The feet should be about hip-width distance apart. You should tuck your hips in forward, sucking that belly up, bringing those arms straight up and keeping the hands engaged. Can bring the weight of your legs into your heels to help protect your knees here. Sinking down and breathe out. You can fold out here. Breathing in all the way up. Exhaling all the way down. And same as before, bending those knees. Bringing your hands up into chair position. Bring the hands to a prayer position at the chest and twist over to the right. So your left elbow is going to be on the outside of your right knee, keeping the integrity in the legs. You can open your arms up here if you'd like, or keep a very good amount of pressure in the two hands in prayer position at the chest to help hold yourself in place. Bringing yourself back to center and twisting to the left. Bringing the right elbow on the outside of the left knee, either keeping those hands firmly locked in prayer position at the chest or opening those arms nice and wide. Remembering to keep the weight into the heels and keeping that butt down. Coming back to center here and straighten those legs. You can fold forward. Rock a little bit here. You can grab onto the backs of the elbows. Sway from side to side if you'd like. And breathe in, come all the way up, look to the sky. Breathe out, fold all the way down. Breathe into half back. Step or lightly jump to plank, lower down to chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog, and exhale, downward dog. Looking to the top of the mat, step or lightly jump your feet to your hands. Grabbing onto the big toes with your peace fingers here and pulling into the stretch. You can keep your knees bent if this is too intense for you. Listening to your body here. Nice deep breaths in and out of the nose. And release. Breathe in, bring the hands all the way up to the ceiling and fold over all the way down. Coming up to standing here. We're going to take tree pose. So firmly plant that left foot into the ground. Take the right foot onto the inside of the left thigh or the inside of the left calf, whichever your mobility is allowing here. You can bring your hands to prayer position at the chest. And if you'd like to take this a step further, you can open them up to the ceiling here. Tucking those hips forward, keeping a nice strong foundation in that left leg and really pushing that foot into the side of your leg. I'm going to take hold of the knee here, hug it into the chest. Now, if this is where you are, you can stay here. If you'd like to try to go further, you can grab onto the big toe and extend that front leg out. You can have a bend in the knee here and bringing that leg out to the side. If you're holding on to the knee still, bringing the leg out to the side, holding on to that knee as such. There's lots of options here. All right, bringing that leg back to center. We're going to release that toe and keep that leg hovering. Keep the integrity of that leg. Use your abdominal muscles to pull in and up and release. All right, can you shake it out a little bit here? And we're going to take the other side. So get a nice solid foundation in that right leg, bringing the left foot onto the inside of the right thigh or the inside of the right calf. Just not using the knee here. Pressing into the palms of the hands at prayer position at the chest. If you'd like to take this further, you can bring your arms up and look to the ceiling, making sure to tuck those hips forward, keeping the butt tucked under, keeping integrity in the abs. Your shoulders should come towards each other at the back. Nice solid foundation in that right foot. We're going to take hold of the left knee and hug it into the chest. And if you're ready to go further, you can grab hold of that left big toe with your peace fingers and straighten that front leg. You can keep a bend in the knee if flexibility is an issue. Just make sure that the spine is still aligned. Bringing that left leg out to the side. Again, if you're still holding on to your knee, you can bring it out to the side as I had showed you before. Bringing that leg back to the front and letting go of the toe. Keeping that leg lifted off the floor, yogis. You've got this. Use those abs. And release. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your booty. Shake your booty. All right. Okay. All kidding aside, though. Back to the top of your mat. We're going to breathe in all the way up. Exhale all the way down. Inhale to a flat back. Step or lightly jump your feet into plank position. Lower down to chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog, and exhale, downward dog. Stepping our right foot between the hands, dropping that back foot down, and coming up into warrior one. Placing those hands on either side of the foot and stepping back to plank, lowering down chaturanga, inhale upward dog, and exhale downward dog. Bringing that left foot to the front of the mat between the hands, dropping the right foot down, lifting up to warrior one. Keeping those hips squared off, nice bend in that front knee, looking straight out ahead of you. And releasing the hands down on either side of the foot, stepping back into plank, lowering down to chaturanga, inhaling upward dog, and exhaling downward facing. Going to step the right foot between the hands and press in and up from the left leg into airplane pose. The left leg should be extended out straight behind you with your foot flexed, and your arms should be extended out straight in front of you with your hands engaged. Keeping that leg lifted. Now we're going to open out into half moon pose by placing our right hand on a block or on the floor and bringing that left arm up to the sky. Opening up the hip in the left leg here. You can take hold of the leg if you have no blocks and you cannot reach the ground. Warning, this is a hard one to balance in. So no shame if you fall out. I do it all the time. We're going to step back into plank pose and go up into downward dog, preparing for the other side. Bringing that left foot forward between the hands, getting the foundation and pushing into the right foot up into airplane. The right leg should be extended straight out behind you. Your foot should be flexed. Your back should have straight alignment. Your arms straight out in front of you. Balancing on that left leg. Now you're going to take your left hand onto the ground or onto a block and open up the right hip into half moon pose. Bringing that right arm up towards the sky, keeping that back foot flexed. If you do not have a block, you can take hold of the leg. And of course, you can have your hand on the ground. Bringing the hands down and stepping into downward facing dog. You're going to look forward to the top of the mat and step or lightly jump your feet to your hands, coming down onto your butt, laying down onto your back. We're going to take a few breaths here and prepare for bridge pose. Bringing the heels directly underneath the bottom, hip width distance apart. And breathing. Pressing those hips up towards the ceiling into bridge. You can walk the shoulders underneath and clasp hold of your hands behind your back. Really pressing into the feet to lift the hips towards the ceiling here. And release your hips back down to the ground. Taking a few restorative breaths. Preparing for your second bridge pose. And ready, we're going to press up into bridge. You can clasp hold of the hands underneath you again, walking those shoulders underneath, really pressing hard and firm into the foundations of your feet, lifting those hips to the sky and releasing. Hugging your knees into your chest, rocking side to side here, taking some nice recuperative breaths. Can grab hold of the outsides of the feet and come into happy baby pose. If this is too far for you, you can just grab hold of the insides of the ankles and bring the palms of the feet together instead. Pulling the feet down towards your armpits and breathing. Not pulling too hard, just enough to keep them in place. Releasing the feet down to the mat and doing some nice rocks back and forth up to seated. 2 or 3 rocks here. Coming up to seated, we're gonna flip around onto our hands and knees and lie down on our stomachs for locust pose. Take a few breaths here. When you come up into locust, you're gonna have your hands on either side of your thighs. You're gonna bring your feet together, flexing them and lift them up off the ground at the same time as your shoulders come up. And coming up into locust, breathing here and release. Taking a few deep restorative breaths. We're going to come up into locust one more time and go. Coming up, you can clasp the hands behind your buttocks if that helps. Lifting, lift that chest, lift those thighs up, and releasing. Okay, you're going to take your hands and press yourself up to seated and come into child's pose. And put some weight into the hands and press up and out of child's pose here. Swing your feet around in front of you for a seated forward fold. You're going to keep them nice and flexed with your knees straight. You're going to keep the integrity in the spine as you bring your hands forwards towards the toes. If you come forward far enough that your knees start to bend, then that is too far. You only want to go as far as you can without bringing a bend into the knees. So you're going to lift your hands up nice and high and fold forwards towards the feet. Breathing here. Feeling that nice stretch into the backs of the thighs. Lifting back up slowly, releasing the knees. We're going to place our feet out in front of us again. We're going to take the right foot and bring it across the left leg so that the outside of the right foot is touching the outside of the left knee, and hug the knee. Otherwise, you can take your left hand and bring it onto the outside of the right knee, and twist looking behind you. Releasing back to center. We're going to take the right leg straight out now, bringing the left foot onto the outside of the right knee, either hugging that knee or bringing the right elbow onto the outside of the left knee and twisting, looking back behind us here. breathing, getting that nice spinal twist, the stretch on the outside of the leg. Releasing, can shake out the knees here, coming down to lie on our backs, bringing our knees in. We're going to drop them over to the left with our arms out to a T. If you would like to increase the stretch in this lying spinal twist, you can take the right knee and cross it over the left, looking over to the right. Bringing our knees back to center and dropping them over to the right side this time, looking over to the left. Again, to increase the stretch here, you can bring the left knee over top of the right. Remembering our shoulders should not be lifting up off the ground. That is an indication you're going too far into the twist. Releasing and bringing our knees back up to center. We're going to bring them out into Shavasana, final rest position, letting our palms lay open towards the ceiling and our feet flopping open. Just breathing and resting here. If you'd like to stay in this position, please pause the video and stay as long as you'd like. Otherwise, thank you so much, yogis, for joining me on your mat today and working as hard as you have. I know it can be difficult sometimes. Honor your body and honor the journey that you're on for getting on your mat and doing the work to feel amazing. If you like this video, please like below. If you have any suggestions or commentary, please feel free to comment below. If you know anybody who would gain value from this video, then definitely share this with them. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel so that you get any updates of new videos and content that are released right away. If you ring that bell notification, it will give you a notification in your YouTube inbox, so you're updated when the videos are released. Other than that, my friends, peace, much love, and namaste. Have yourself a wonderful day.